Update 35.0.1 is now live in the game, and in this video we're going to look at all of the changes with this patch. The first change we're going to talk about is the change to the Disarm effect. As you see on this little snip that I took here, there are monster players, there are mobs in the world that can disarm you. And basically what disarmed used to mean, if you got disarmed, it's a 5-second duration, and your primary weapon, so as a champ, your main sword would be disabled for 5 seconds, and any skill requiring a primary weapon would not be able to be used. The disarm effect has now been changed. It'll now work exactly like a silence would. And the way silence works is, once you get silence, some skills get disabled, such as the champ taunt, because you need voice to use it. And in the patch note it says that disarm will work like silence. Your weapon is no longer disabled, but disarm will simply block the use of certain skills for the duration. Now I'm not exactly sure if this will mean that your damaging skills will get disabled, or if disarm will work exactly like silenced. But apparently there were some issues with how disarm was working. So it's now kind of working just like silence, where it just disables some skills and it doesn't take your weapon away. So I guess eventually we'll see if disarm has the same effect, if it blocks out your DPS skills, or if disarm works like a normal silence and just disables skills like your taunts. Ever since we got the mastery fixes to all of our skills, quite frankly we've been kind of OP and a bit too strong. So with this patch we had an adjustment to enemy morale. We look at this Iron Crown Warrior. This is tier 3 of Sagroth. Compared to my previous video, the Iron Crown Warrior has 8.7 million morale. And if we now look at the new one, he has 11 million morale. Basically every monster has received a 25% increase in morale. This morale increase starts at level 30 and then slowly increases all the way till the level cap. And additionally, any monster above level 116 gets a bump to their armor rating as well. So the enemy mitigations goes from 37.5 to 45% base mitigations. So an increase in morale to enemies at level cap, increase in mitigations to enemies above level 116. And this change will also buff pets for Loremaster and Captain, as well as friendly NPCs. And it's important to note that this does not account for monster players in the Etmors, but rather just for PvE enemies in the world. Some of the daily quests in Baal Avark now has a join instance queue. Once you pick up a quest, the NPC will now have a quest ring that if you talk to him again, he will prompt you to open the instance finder and to open the instance where the quest needs to be completed. And Centlore, the 3-man, had some bug fixes with the order of operation. Basically before this patch, if you were to do some things out of order, not in line with the quests that you have in this instance, you would not be able to progress your quest. This should be fixed with this patch, and the 3-man should be working fine again. In the last boss in Sagroth, Radarig, the cleansing devices you can see on the bottom right here should be usable much earlier in the fight than compared to before. So as you can see right now, this is going to become active in a second here. There we go. So about 15 seconds into the fight, you gain access to the cleansing devices to cleanse your diseases. Quality of life change in Sagroth the 6-man. You may now exit through the portal door. All of these repeatable quests in Baal Avark now properly requires level 140 to be accepted. Some items from the 6-man, such as some might and agility items, now drop for the proper classes, but unfortunately there's still the issue of the heavy shield only dropping for Bjornings, and I don't think I've seen a Warden shield yet. It doesn't seem to be in the loot. So there's still some really annoying and big issues with the loot in this update, and there's still no class items to see for Bjorning, Champion, and Guardian. So hopefully by the next update, all of these issues will be fixed. This is really annoying to play around. The Minstrel class items had their ballad and coda damage increased from 15% to 30%. So any minstrel class item now has 30% on the ballad encoded damage. And all class items dropping from the 6-man are now bind to account rather than bind to character. These items also now have a max level of 144. The Throne class item for minstrels now has a max level of level 115. Your return skills and your hunter ports and your warden ports have now been moved to the correct barter and now don't require anything. You can now barter. All you need is the currency and you can get your hunter port, your warden port, and your return skill without having to complete the tier 1 of the raid. We also find out that there's been changes to the 3-man's and the 6-man balance updates, but what exactly we don't know, but there's been some adjustments to the 3-man's and the 6-man. The Delver's Vivid Essence box now has the correct item level for 81. Tier 11 and Tier 12 Delvings now have deeds attached to them. And from what I've heard and seen, I believe you have the complete Tier 11 or Tier 12 10 times. And then you get the complete them 100 times. No complete 1000 times deed for 11 and 12. The 1000 time completion is only for the Tier 10 still. All the other ones seem to have 10 and 100 deeds for completion. There were a few minor changes to the monster play, mainly about the tutorial, but the changes for monster play you can see on the screen right now. And a piece of news that I just wanted to include in this patch report: the level 140 Valar is now available for limited time only. So if you want to get a character to max level really easily, you can now get the level 140 Valar in the LOTRO store all the way to April 13th. So the level 140 Valar will be available in the LOTRO store for 1 week, and other Valars are also 20% off. So if you're planning to Valar a character, if you have a class you want to get to level 140, now is the time to do that. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to help out the channel, leave a like, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse! The Ghyniverse is a community Discord server for the game Lord of the Rings Online. In this server you'll find anything from giveaways. There's also a frequently asked questions channel that I would recommend checking out first. You'll be able to see when I put out new YouTube videos, whenever I stream. You can also ask for the streamer role and you'll be able to post your own streams in this server for everyone to see. There's currently over 5,000 members in this Discord and it keeps growing. You will also find discussion channels about the game, LOTRO. You can ask any questions in the help channel. There's discussions for every single class in the game and PvP. But one of the best things about this server is the best in slot items section. In this section you can find trait lines for every single class. You will find screenshots of the current best gear being displayed. In this channel you'll find charts showing what stats you need for your characters, mitigations, mastery crit, finesse, but you'll also find useful information about drop rates in different instances. I hope you will consider joining my server, and maybe one day I'll see you in Middle-earth.